Here at MacGyver's Workshop, we build, fix, or re-engineer just about anything. You never know what we'll be working on next. And if you're not too careful, you just might learn something. Hi there, welcome back to MacGyver's Workshop, and this is going to be part 2 of the 2000 GMC Jimmy that we're working on. As we covered in the first part, we had to pull the rear end out and replace it, and I'll go into some of the damage we found into the rear end here in a little bit. We found some seriously broken teeth on the pinion gear, most likely due to the failure of the pinion bearings. Now, the rear end we got from the boneyard had a bit of a problem in that we weren't expecting this, and of course it's my fault for not seeing it. However, finding another one would probably be a bit of a pain, but I'll show you here. Probably through some damage either in the yard or whatever, this got broken, and this is basically the plate that goes on the rear axle, just like that. So seeing how the one on our old rear end, which is going back to the junkyard for a core, was good, we just took it off and put it on our boneyard rear end that we got. Now here's what makes it interesting. This rear axle is, because the truck is four-wheel drive, is a limited slip, or as GM calls it, a posi traction rear end. And in order to get the axle shafts out, it's a bit more of a challenge because you've got all the posi track stuff down in there in the middle, and I have the pinion shaft out of it right now. But essentially, you remove the axle shaft the same way by popping the C-clip out. So basically a standard C-clip axle. You just have to fuddle around with it and slide the pinion shaft, which is this, which goes basically through there, and that's what holds the axles far enough apart to where the C-clips hold the axle in place, keep it from falling out of the rear end. So, but we've done that, and that's all said and done on our rear end here. And you can see the other side of the carrier, where all your bits and bobs are for the posi track. There's some clutches right there, and I'll show you more of it here in a minute on the other rear end. But now we got of course I pulled the pan off, obviously, to swap the end plates over there, end brackets. But I would have pulled the back plate anyway to check this rear end and see what kind of shape it's in. So now we got to clean all the old gasket off and get the differential cover back on it. So okay, so now I have the rear end set up on some sawhorses here. This is the old one, and I'll actually need to get some parts off of it. But I'm going to bring this thing around here and show you some of the broken teeth on here. Let's roll it around. There's one chipped tooth right there. Another one, and that one's broken down in the inside there. You can see, I hit it with the light. See that? Now the question you got to ask yourself is, of course, why? And there's a bunch of trash down in here. There's some stuff that really come apart there. Not sure what it is yet, but I'm sure we'll find out. And it's pretty big and pretty, that's some pretty big stuff right there. What the hell that is? Some pretty big bits come out of there, didn't it? Look at that. That almost looks like teeth off the pinion gear. That's what it looks like. Huh. So let's see what we're missing down here. Oh yeah, look at that. Woo, he busted the crap out of that. I don't know if you can see that down in there. He just flat broke the crap out of that. Yep. Not exactly sure how that happened, but it sure as heck happened. Definitely lunched this rear end all the heck and back. So what essentially that is that's 3 teeth off of the pinion gear. Alright. Well, I have to borrow some brackets off of this rear end, so in case y'all didn't notice, this is actually a limited slip posi rear end here. See all this extra crap in the middle? If you've seen some of my other videos where I've tore into a rear end, you didn't see any of this stuff here. But there's some little clutch discs there, and what that does is that locks the 2 axles together under power. So anyway, alright, so we're making our way back to it here. Got the shocks mounted back in there, and of course our U-bolts are all nice and tightened up. Of course we had to get new ones because a couple of the old ones broke, and got our brake lines run back, our parking brake cables hooked up, and I'm going to put the sway bar back in here. It's tied off here for the moment, and then we'll hang the brakes on it and get going. Alright, so we're just about all back together here, and I'm ready to put gear oil in the differential. Now, seeing how this is a limited slip or a posi track, we have to put a special additive in there, and we'll get that in there first, and then we'll top off the rear end. You know, of course, you fill it through that little plug right there that I've just removed, and once we get done with that, then we can start hanging the brakes on it and bleeding it. And I've already fixed that gnarly rusted brake line in the front, so hopefully we'll be done with this tonight.